There's a woman named Ashley. She's 34, lives in a suburb outside Nashville, drives a leased BMW X5, carries a Chanel bag she paid $4,200 for last spring, and posts 3 times a week. Brunch, travel, a flat lay of her nightstand with the right candle in the frame. Her credit card balance sits at $11,400. She has $6,000 in her 401k. $6,000. That's less than most people spend on a weekend in Vegas. Then there's Karen. Karen is 41. She drives a 2014 Toyota Camry with a cracked phone mount and a Costco membership card wedged in the cup holder. She works 4 days a week as a mid-level project manager at a logistics company in the same city. She hasn't posted on Instagram in 2 years. She has $1.24 million spread across her 401k, a Roth IRA, and a brokerage account she checks maybe twice a month. As both of these women look like they are doing fine. Only one of them actually is. If you're someone who feels the pressure to look the part, while quietly wondering whether you'll ever actually get ahead, stay with me. This video is about the line between performing wealth and building it, and it will help more than you think. Most people think the obstacle to building real wealth is income. They tell themselves, when I make more, I'll save more. When I get the raise, I'll start investing. And there's a version of that story that's partly true. Income matters. But income isn't what separates Ashley from Karen. Ashley makes $91,000 a year. Karen makes $78,000. The enemy isn't income. The enemy is the performance. Somewhere in the last decade, quietly, and then all at once, looking wealthy became a full-time job. Social media didn't create the desire to signal status. That desire is as old as the first person who wore a bigger fur than the person next to them. But Instagram and TikTok gave that desire a 24/7 distribution channel and turned lifestyle performance into something that feels almost mandatory. You're not just keeping up with the Joneses anymore. You're keeping up with the curated highlight reel of 400 Joneses, all of whom appear to be living better than you. This is what I'd call the sidewalk princess trap. You spend like you've already arrived. You buy the bag, lease the car, book the trip. Not because you have the money, but because the life you're projecting feels more real than the spreadsheet you're avoiding. And the cruel part is that the spending feels good. Not because the things themselves are satisfying for long, but because the performance gets applause. Likes, comments, DMs from people who say you look amazing. Think of it like an iceberg. What you post, what you wear, what you drive, that's the tip. Visible, photogenic, measurable in lyces. The actual mass of the iceberg, the net worth, the accounts, the compounding returns, sits completely underwater. You can't photograph it. Nobody is going to comment goals on your Roth IRA statement. But that silent, underwater mass is the only part that will keep you afloat when something goes wrong. And something always goes wrong. Let me walk you through what Karen actually did, because it isn't magic and it isn't luck. Karen started her first real job at 27 with a $52,000 salary and $18,000 in student loan debt. She did 2 things right out of the gate that most people don't do until their late 30s, if at all. She set her 401k contribution to 12% and left it there. And she opened a Roth IRA the same month she paid off her loans, 2 years later. That's it. No side hustle, no crypto play, no real estate empire. Just consistent contributions to tax-advantaged accounts for 14 years. In 2024, the 401k contribution limit is $23,000. The Roth IRA limit is $7,000. Combined, that's $30,000 a year in sheltered compounding money. Most people max neither. Karen maxed both, not every year, but most years. On a $78,000 salary, that's a real sacrifice. Just that's $2,500 a month that doesn't go to a car payment or a weekend trip. What it does go to is 14 years of compounding at roughly 8% average annual returns, which is a conservative long-term estimate for a diversified index fund portfolio. Run that math, and the number that comes out is not surprising if you understand compounding. It's staggering if you don't. 14 years of that behavior, starting at 27, gets Karen to $1.24 million at 41. That's not a projection, that's arithmetic. Now let's look at Ashley. Ashley's $11,400 credit card balance costs her around $220 a month just in minimum payments, at an average APR of 22%. That $220 a month over 10 years, money that goes to a credit card company and disappears, is roughly $45,000 lost. Not spent on things she wanted. Lost. And that's before the compounding she never got on the money she spent instead of invested. Her BMW X5 lease runs $680 a month. That's $8,160 a year. At the end of the lease, she owns nothing. She'll sign another one. The $4,200 Chanel bag is a different kind of number. It's a one-time purchase, so it feels manageable. But here's the thing about a $4,200 decision made by someone carrying $11,400 in credit card debt at 22% interest. It's not actually a $4,200 decision. It's closer to a $5,500 decision once you account for the interest it generates. And that $5,500 invested instead at 8% over 10 years becomes roughly $11,900. The bag is worth maybe $3,000 if she resells it well. The investment would have been worth nearly $12,000, sitting quietly in an index fund. Nobody would have seen it. That's the point. I want to be careful here, because this isn't about telling anyone to never buy something beautiful. Karen has a cashmere sweater she spent $340 on 4 years ago. She still wears it twice a week. She spends deliberately. That's the difference. Spending deliberately on things you actually value is completely compatible with building wealth. Performing wealth, buying things to be seen buying them, is not. The 2024 Schwab Modern Wealth Survey found that the average American believes you need $2.5 million in net worth to be considered wealthy. Meanwhile, the median American household net worth is well below $200,000. The gap between what people think wealth requires and what they are actually building is enormous, and much of that gap is filled by performance spending. Money that makes the outside look more impressive while the inside of the balance sheet quietly hollows out. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. Ashley isn't reckless. She's not impulsive in any way she'd recognize as a problem. She has a budget. She tracks her spending in an app. She knows what a Roth IRA is. She's thought about investing. She's just always felt like there was a reason to wait. A trip she'd already booked. A friend's wedding she needed to look good for. A bad month that wrecked the plan. The delay never feels permanent. It feels like one more month. That's the trap. Not ignorance, delay. And the delay has a cost that's almost impossible to feel in real time. Because the thing you lose isn't the money itself. It's the compounding you never started. Every year Ashley waits. The window closes a little more. Not because she can't catch up, but because the math of compounding is brutally front-loaded. And the first 10 years matter most, and she's spending hers. There's a concept psychologists call arrival fallacy. The belief that once you reach some external marker, you'll finally feel okay. The bag, the car, the vacation, the apartment with the good light. The arrival never actually arrives. The feeling of okayness lasts maybe a week. And then the next marker appears. This is not a character flaw. It's just how the brain responds to reward. But in finance, it's expensive. The performance of having arrived costs money you need to actually get somewhere. Ashley bought the bag, wore it twice that month, posted both times, felt something close to satisfaction for about 10 days. Then she started thinking about the next thing. The wealth stayed exactly where it was. So here's what actually changes the trajectory. The first shift is what I call building the real ledger, not the budget you show yourself in an app. The actual net worth statement, assets minus liabilities, updated quarterly. Most people avoid this number because it's uncomfortable, but you can't manage what you won't look at. Karen started doing this at 28, when her net worth was negative $14,000. She looked at it anyway. She updated it every 3 months. Watching that number move sent her slowly at first, then faster, became more motivating than any financial advice she'd ever read. The second shift is the invisible upgrade. This is what Karen does instinctively. Before any discretionary purchase over $200, she asks one question. Am I buying this because I actually want it, or because of how it will read to someone else? That question alone filters out roughly 60% of performance spending. The things that survive the filter. She buys without guilt. The things that don't, she doesn't miss because she never actually wanted them. The third shift is automation before willpower. Karen doesn't decide every month whether to invest. The money moves the day after her paycheck hits, before she can see it in her checking account, before it becomes available to spend. I've run my own money this way for over a decade. Contributions automated, investments set to broad index funds, and nothing requiring a decision from me each month. Willpower is a limited resource. Automation is not. None of these are difficult ideas. The difficulty is choosing the net worth over the narrative, choosing the iceberg over the tip. Ashley and Karen live 4 blocks apart in the same Nashville suburb. Ashley gets more compliments. Her Instagram performs better. At dinner parties, she has better stories about where she's been. If you passed her on the street, you'd probably assume she was doing well. Karen is doing well. There's a version of this story that ends with Ashley figuring it out, catching it at 35, making the hard pivots, closing the gap over time. That version is real and available. The math doesn't care about the past. It only compounds from whatever you put in, starting whenever you start. The best time to begin was a decade ago. The second best time is not complicated. What I'd ask you to sit with is this. Every financial decision carries 2 price tags. The one on the label and the one that never gets written down. The compounding you trade away, the freedom you delay, the options you quietly close. Most people only read the first tag. The secret millionaire next door reads both. If this made you think about your own number, the one underwater, the one that actually counts, drop it in the comments. Not the dollar amount, just where you are, starting out, building, or already there. You'd be surprised how many people are further along than they let on,